Welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel, everyone. This is Rich making another video on XRP today. As usual, we're going to talk about XRP today, so I hope everyone is having a fantastic day wherever they are in the world. I must begin with this. When the requirements are passed, I believe that the 1,700 contracts, including NDAs, will begin to be disclosed. A number of them will be revealed prior to the worldwide adoption of ISO 20022 in November of this year. Because usefulness is where the true value is found, keep your attention on it. We are currently unsure of the date of disclosure for those NDAs. We don't know when those NDAs will expire, but I'm sure there's a contract attached. However, I believe that after standards are established and ISO goes live in November, we will begin to receive some news. However, we won't be able to find out who these 1,700 contracts are with. I believe that will occur eventually. Vivo Power investors can take advantage of XRP incentives through a crypto collaboration. According to eligibility requirements and availability, Vivo Power and Crypto.com are giving out $100 in XRP bonuses as part of their recent agreement. The concept appeals to me. Simply put, I don't utilize Crypto.com. Instead, I always use Uphold. However, I simply felt it was important to bring up. However, one business that also has an XRP treasury is Vivo Power. Big XRP gains are being hoarded by corporations. Deep in the green are even up-and-coming brands like Nature's Miracle, Worksport, and Hyperscale. The institutional bet on XRP is yielding enormous profits. Now, the majority of these businesses will wait till alt season starts before selling off their XRP. When it occurs, these businesses will make a huge profit. I promise you. And I believe that other businesses will notice that. When it occurs, several businesses will probably also be purchasing the top. However, XRP is now the cryptocurrency with the highest return on investment. This cycle will be very profitable for anyone who enters before the ETFs are allowed due to the market cap multiplier. Those that experience FOMO will also profit when the green candles appear. But why don't you purchase XRP right away? I don't understand. Well, I don't want to tie up my money now, is a common statement. I'll purchase XRP as soon as it begins to move. The blood is always purchased on the streets. When no one is discussing it, you purchase. The majority of folks will pay out when everyone is talking about it. Additionally, it includes additional cryptocurrencies in addition to XRP. The black swan capitalist is the source of this. Bitcoin is outdated technology, as John McAfee once stated, and he was correct. Every disruption starts with a prototype before becoming the norm. Listen to this out, and it won't go away, now that we've opened the box and are using it. It's here then, it is here to stay. And I am aware of that. And I believe that eventually, if not Bitcoin, then another alternative currency will take its place as the global standard. Additionally, I think that will happen soon. And it's on the horizon. This is now taking place in real time. In the background, Ripple is still developing a completely new financial system while everyone is preoccupied with the market's decline and the constant chatter about Bitcoin. Additionally, Stellar is installing rail after rail. Behind the scenes, digital trade is also developing. That will be very advantageous to XDC. Additionally, Q&T is undergoing numerous integrations. HBR is no different. Around HBR, no momentum has slowed. Algo is still expanding and developing. IoT is no different. The Internet of Things is still growing. It is accelerating. Additionally, Industry 4.0 is rapidly approaching. You will either regret investing in these coins later, or you will do it now. IoT is likely one of the largest sleeping giants in our industry. I'm telling you, hold off until it turns off. Q&T is no different. Await the start of Q&T. During this cycle, people will be purchasing Q&T for more than $500. In this cycle, they will probably be purchasing HBR at a price higher than $3. It will be a great run for XLM. I continue to believe that XDC will surpass $1. I see individuals phoning for $3 to $5, and that might actually happen. You know, you don't discount cryptocurrencies with practical applications. August 2025. The Central Bank of Nigeria mandates that all systems undergo a complete migration to ISO 20022 by October of this year. In addition to the integration, Ripple has worked with financial institutions in Nigeria. The direction of this is already clear to us. Because ISO is taking place in November, you will see more announcements like this one. This year, that change takes place. No more postponements. Brad Garlinghouse predicts that by the end of the year, RLUSD will be in the top 5. RLUSD is undoubtedly gaining traction, but I believe it will take longer than the year's end. We're probably going to see RLUSD move up the ranks in 2026. It is designed to be. The most stable coin due to its transparent construction, one-to-one support, and upcoming transparency from Ripple that will be provided. Like great milk, this will mature. Bloomberg Business. In January 2018, Ripple's $80 billion digital currency was rejected by banks. They insisted that no one would ever use XRP. Even back then, they consistently asserted that no bank would accept XRP. However, what has been going on? It has long been in use internally at Bank of America. Ripple and Wells Fargo previously collaborated. Ripple and JP Morgan are more closely related than most people realize. Do you recall JP Morgan? They requested a portion of that escrow, but Ripple soon found themselves in hot water with the SEC. However, all of these institutions are currently positioning themselves. And I'm telling you, there's a problem if BlackRock doesn't apply for a spot XRP ETF. In the background, BlackRock is probably holding a ton of XRP. Additionally, the topic of Bitcoin as exit liquidity has always been present. Pay attention to how they disparage XRP and its holders. Correct. It's the same stuff. They are simply deceiving others. They are attempting to force their bags on people indefinitely by constructing this pyramid scheme. Yes, I would contend that the government would put an end to anything similar if Bitcoin didn't exist. Yes. This is criminal counterfeiting, I guess. Indeed, I believe that to be the reason Gary Gensler hasn't pursued all of these cryptocurrencies. That example, if you had mentioned a few years ago that these securities were all unregistered. We will pursue each and every one of them. I don't care if the government takes 100 years. What would occur? Everything would be converted to Bitcoin. Yes. There may then be some idiots who think, oh, we're going to take it over, and it's going to rip away. However, I believe it to be a psyop. I believe that some very significant individuals are aware of how the game theory is being applied. The procedure cannot be altered. How can the price of Bitcoin be prevented from skyrocketing? When you buy crap like this, you allow people to get destroyed. Yes, this explains why XRP is retarded, and for retards. In fact, it is slowing down the adoption of Bitcoin. It's difficult to say, isn't it? Rerun these experiments because you can't run them. If there weren't so much market capitalization and XRP, would the adoption of Bitcoin be happening more quickly? Perhaps, perhaps not. However, we can state that every idiot who succumbs to the XRP psyop and invests their money in XRP instead of Bitcoin is not contributing to the growth of Bitcoin. However, when this thing eventually blows up, as it will cause a rush of individuals to switch from XRP to Bitcoin. Therefore, it is likely to increase the acceptance of Bitcoin in the long term, even though it may slow it down in the short term. This is one of those strange situations you find yourself in. The extent of these people's delusions is beyond my comprehension. They continue to think that Bitcoin will be adopted by the US government. They continue to hold the opinion that Bitcoin was more than simply a test coin for XRP, the actual Bitcoin. And notice that the money invested in these other cryptocurrencies is what worries them. They want every penny to be invested in Bitcoin. Why? Thus they require exit liquidity. Here's the good news though. On XRP, every unfavorable thread results in a 10x algorithmic engagement. Listen to Paul Barron by clicking this link. Ironically, when certain camps begin attacking XRP camps, it triggers a response mechanism from the XRP community, which improves the algorithm and now has a sort of incentive structure. This is why it is so tribal in the crypto industry overall, regardless of whether the attacks are bot-driven or human-driven. Thus, each negative XRP thread gets 10 times as much algorithmic engagement. Therefore, whenever we encounter a Bitcoiner, an ETH max